This is Spunky
and Snarky, and we say, welcome to the show.
Hi, so we're two sisters. We decided to start a podcast while we're home because of COVID-19. Nothing better to do. So we decided to look back on some TV episodes and movies and just kind of give our commentary on them. We're also going to be talking about our childhood memories from time period and certain things that are batshit crazy about the episode and why we like them.
Yeah. I love time capsule episodes and that only be made in a certain period and stuff like that.
In our show, we're going to take a look at certain episodes or movies that are iconic for one reason or another. Today is our batshit crazy episode, so we're going to talk about why something becomes what is batshit crazy.
I think what makes a batshit crazy episode is something where why did they do this? Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just things that don't make any sense
at all. So for today's episode, we're looking back at an episode of Charlie's Angels from Season 1, Episode 3, called Night of the Strangler.
Once upon a time, there were three little girls who went to the police academy, and they were each assigned very hazardous duties. But I took them away from all that, and now they work for me. My name is Charlie.
For those that don't know, Charlie's Angels is a series that lasted from 1976 to 1981. It was on for 5 seasons. It followed a bunch of lady cops who then were recruited to be private investigators by a mysterious voiced man named Charles Townsend, aka Charlie. And they solve, various crimes with their assistant Bosley.
Alright, so in this episode of Charlie's Angels, there's a fashion model named Dana who uncannily looks like Kelly, one of the angels. And she's in this unscrupulous affair with this fashion designer, Claire, and wants to break it off because he won't leave his crazy wife. You see her breaking it off and she goes up to her hotel room and she gets strangled and killed. But she's not just killed by any means. Oh no. She's strangled with a ragdoll of a clown.
So it's pretty creepy, this clown. It's one of those old style clown dolls.
Yeah.
And it just brings up why do you even need to kill someone with a rag doll?
I know, it would seem easier to just use your hands or a garrote or something.
Or a rope, anything, anything. But no, he's taking this long rag doll and wrapping it around her neck.
It kind of looks like the Poltergeist doll. I've never seen that movie, but there's that creepy clown, and it kind of looks like that.
So anyway, the angels take the case and they end up infiltrating this
modeling agency. Yeah, and so his wife is there, and she sees Kelly, and she's like, "Oh hell no," because she looks exactly like Dana, and she knows about the affair, and she's kind of drunk anyways. I think she's an alcoholic, so. She's like, and she sees her husband making the eyes at her, and especially when he tells her that they're gonna put Kelly in the white bikini, and she was like, "Oh hell no, I'm wearing the white bikini."
And first off, wife looks like way past her prime.
She's
in her mid 40s, and that's
early 50s.
Nice.
Yeah,
is she wearing a Charlie's Angel bikini?
No.
So we don't know why she's having these illusions of grandeur and or whatever, but all of a sudden she just goes crazy when she sees Kelly in the bikini.
And she just is like, "I'm just gonna fight this bitch," and lunges at her, but Kelly sees it coming because she had that police training.
And classic sidestep, and she ends up in the pool.
Well, yeah, they tussle for a bit, and yeah, she ends up pushing her ass in the pool. So the husband tries to cool her down, say, "Okay, you can wear the bikini."
Because the pool wasn't enough.
Yeah, and then so she goes off to change or whatever, and then that's when the Ripper comes again.
So we have a slew of potential suspects that the angels are investigating. First and foremost, of course, is St. Clair. But he has an alibi that his car got towed during Dana's murder, and he was there during his wife's murder, so he's kind of Then we got the photographer at the modeling agency, and we find out some shit about him. He's kind of rapey while they're investigating him, but he's got a picture of some models that, like, with their faces crossed off, and so we're like, eek, eek. Plus, he did a bunch of porn and stuff, so he's, like...
Directed, not
he's a freak
started.
Industry. And, and then we got the business partner who is also super male chauvinistic 70s, like trying to get with the girls when they're talking to him. And then there's this like Taylor guy who is straight out of like Scooby-Doo. Like, not the one that did it, but the one you think did it just because he's creepy. But it's actually kind of nice. So the girls are investing all the happenings, and then this other model gets attacked.
Andy.
So Candy gets attacked, but one of the angels is there to stop
Kelly.
it. And then...
Yeah, so she's there to stop it, and they realize that it was Alex Van who then tried to run them over as she was helping Candy. And then they later found it abandoned on the side of the road or something.
So one of the angels is kind of getting close to this Taylor guy, who turns out to be really nice.
Jill.
And so they're out to dinner, and he gets called away, and she's like waiting around, and like hella time passes. Like, did he fall in?
He escaped out the bathroom window.
Like, oh, what the hell? And then so he asks the guy, and he's like, "Oh, he goes to the church a lot." I'm like, "He ditched out on me to go to the church? Like, what the fuck?" So
On Sarah, how dare he?
So she goes over to the church, and there's like a note on the wall that
says to the police, and then it says, when you open it, it's like, I killed them all. And then she opens the like confessional door, and there's Hines slumped over with a doll in his hand. So the angels are like, what the fuck? Because Jill's like, he did not do that. Because he's Catholic, he's very devout, he's not gonna kill himself.
But they find all the dolls at his house, and I'm still like, what is with the dolls? Why do you have to kill with the dolls? Where did you get this bulk amount of dolls? Because it's not like, so they use the one doll in like every murder. Oh no.
He left them at the crime
scene. Doll.
Yeah.
I mean, same exact doll, but a new one for each murder because they leave it at the crime scene. So apparently they like got the bulk order. Like
they got the wholesale.
They got the creepy clown doll at Costco for $5. Like $15.99, you get 20 clown dolls that nobody wants.
He could have chose the My Buddy, like in Child's Play, but no, he went with the creepy clown ragdoll.
Super creepy. So they're like, what the hell is going on? So the angels kind of like have a powwow and sort of figure out.
They start piecing the puzzle, as Ghost Rider would say.
They piece the puzzle, and so they contact each of the guys and are like, "We got some dirt on you. You need to meet us at the modeling agency or whatever." And so they go.
Basically, they're kind of hide in the wings and they see Alec, the photographer, in St. Clair, and they're kind of chatting. They're like, "What do these girls have on us?" And then they're like, well, it doesn't matter. We're going to blame it all on the other guy, Woodman. And then Woodman shows up and is like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? What do you mean you're going to blame it on me? I didn't do this. I only killed
the businessman or whatever.
Yeah.
And so long story short, they kind of all did. Like, each one did one. So it turns out that St. Clair, the designer, killed Dana, and then Woodman, the business partner, killed the wife, and then
Alec tried to kill Candy, but Kelly stopped him in the act. And then the angels find out that, because basically that St. Clair had a life insurance policy for $2 million, which was a lot of money back in the 70s, on his wife, and basically, like, he cut those other two in, saying, I'll give you a portion of the money if you help me kill my wife. And Bosley still is confused and has no idea who did it.
So that's the end. Basically, they all did it, and they go in jail.
Yeah, because Candy's still alive, and she got testified.
But at the same time, no one still knows what the fuck is up with the damn ragdoll.
Yeah, they never really explain.
I'm the type of person I watch a lot of like, Law and Order and shit. And so
The Forensic Files.
This is very like, I needed to know the Criminal Minds explanation for the goddamn ragdoll.
Yeah.
You don't just
Like, was he like molested by a ragdoll as a child? Like,
I don't know. Because like, why pick a ragdoll? It seems like an extra effort to use a ragdoll. So like, what is the like Freudian theory behind?
Maybe his mom beat him with a ragdoll. Like,
why
who
do
knows?
you have all these ragdolls?
Maybe he was a clown in a former life and just has a clown thing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think his shoes were that big. Well, the one guy had a van. Maybe they were trying to pack.
Well, he was the rapist, so the rapist had the rapist van.
That's true. But I wanted to know why the ragdoll.
Yeah.
I was sadly disappointed.
Yeah, unfortunately, they never explained it. And that's the end of the episode. In a way, this kind of reminded me of Agatha Christie's The ABC Murders. I've never read the book, but I've played the video game, and I've watched, like, a couple of years ago, they had a adaptation for the BBC with John Malkovich, which actually wasn't that good because they changed a bunch of stuff, but whatever. It reminded me of that because basically in that story, like, there's a bunch of murders, but the person who did the murders only really did it because he was trying to hide one murder. So he was using the others as a cover-up, pretty much. He set up another guy to try to take the fall, but then they didn't. So what were your final thoughts besides what's up with the clowns?
I mean, I've never really watched Charlie's Angels too much before, so this was kind of different for me. I mean, it's super 70s, and like the male chauvinism was all over the place. Like, there was a super like rapey scene with that one guy because they were trying to bait him. A lot of like trying to bait these guys into like, using my feminine charms to get the guys to tell me things, and so it was kind of interesting in that sense. But overall, I guess I'm just used to more like straight crime drama, so it was really kind of weird in that sense.
Yeah, I get it. I love Charlie's Angels. I've watched it for a long time. I have the DVDs. They're like ass-kicking chicks who like, they're like independent. They take down bad guys and stuff, and that's cool.
Okay, so now we're going to explore the Braden basement and basically like chat about just random things that come to mind. So in this instance, like some toys that were really creepy when we were kids, like the clown doll in this thing. I just find clowns creepy in general.
Yes, clowns are very creepy. Especially since I saw It.
I mean, I've never really been afraid of clowns, but I just appreciate their creepiness. Like,
yeah. Or do not appreciate their creepiness.
Well, yeah.
And dolls in general, too, can be super creepy depending on how the faces are drawn. I mean, I know I remember watching a movie at a slumber party about how, like, these dolls came to life and killed a bunch of people. Common theme. But I was never really afraid of dolls as kids so much. My mom has this, like, 3-foot big Patty Play Pal doll, and I was never really afraid of it, but it's really funny because a few years back I was visiting my friend's house, and I'm white and she's black because ebony and ivory go together in perfect harmony. Anyway, so I'm walking in and I glance into the side room and I look up on the shelf, and what is there but the African American version of the Patty Play Pal doll. Like, literally, it is exactly the same. And I started, like, cracking the fuck up because it was hilarious. Still slightly creepy, but hilarious. And I can't believe her mom had the exact same doll.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, so yeah, as a kid, I wasn't too scared of toys, but our parents like let us watch like a lot of totally inappropriate television for children.
Yeah, they didn't censor anything.
So I remember watching this TV movie as a kid where like there's this artist and he like paints art with blood and stuff. So I have this really weird fascination with blood and art. So we're really desensitized to these types of things. So
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I think we need to listen to some tunes now. So let's move on to our next segment.
For our next segment is our music spotlight, where our theme of the week is
killer songs.
And our first song on the list is Bobby Darin's Mac the Knife, which I know is a personal favorite of yours.
That's my favorite song. Not my favorite song, but like
one of your favorite songs.
One of my favorite songs. I love that people think it's just like an old-timey, like nice song and like have no idea that it's about a serial killer. Like it makes me happy. And I like the imagery of the just a oozing life.
The next song is one I picked. It's Talking Heads' Psycho Killer. And I picked that because, it's classic. And they use it like in all the like creepy movies. And it's good. So the next one that we picked was Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. Because apparently Annie ain't okay.
She's not okay, Annie.
If you have to ask her 24 times, she ain't okay.
She did. Next on the list is a personal pick of mine, which is Twisted Sister. You better run for your life. Which is best heard on the Live at Hammersmith version, because that was my jam in high school. And
the last pick of the 5 is another one that I picked, which is the Power Station Murderess, where you get a kick-ass Andy Taylor guitar solo. And talking about more about a woman murderer, but whatever. I still put it with this. It's about a woman going for the jugular. And our honorable mention, of course, is Aerosmith's Ragdoll. Because, come on, it's a ragdoll killer. And that's it for our music spotlight. If you want to hear the songs in full, you can go to our website where we have a Spotify playlist and check them out.
Okay.
And that does it for the first episode of the Spunky and Snarky Show.
And thanks for listening to our super unprofessional podcast.
Thumbs up. If you'd like to drop us a line or request a show or movie, you can email us at spunkyn, the letter N, snarkyshow@gmail.com, or you can go check us out on our website at spunkyn, the letter N, snarkyshow.wordpress.com, because we're poor and we can't afford a domain right now. So,
Corona life.
So again, thanks for listening and have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.